My cheaters! Where are we at? Put your hands up. Make yourself be known. Where are my cheaters at? Yes, I'm talking about cheaters in romantic relationships. Cheaters, I love you guys. You want to know why? Because you make me feel better about myself. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. You make me feel like I have some dignity and maybe some level of ethics and morals. But look, I do feel like there's underlying reasons why people cheat, and oftentimes it kind of goes back to trauma. Empathy is a stretch. I think I can understand a little bit as to why people cheat. But guys, don't cheat. Don't cheat, man. Have the fucking guts. Have the balls to tell her. Have the guts to tell him. Have the decency to tell them. But don't cheat. Cheating traumatizes people. In my first relationship, I was in a relationship for like almost 2 years. I was like 15 years old. I technically didn't get cheated on, but the other person broke up with me over the phone. It was on 4th of July, which made it more memorable because it was 4th of July. But I remember like 2 weeks later, they posted an image with another person on Instagram, like at their family's home. And I was like, what the fuck? So, I was already wrecked from the them breaking up with me. But to see this picture of them with another person, I was fucking distraught. That felt like a bullet through my fucking heart. I was broken. And the more I came to like actually think about the person I was with and think about their prior life and their history, the more I seen there was some level of abandonment, some level of emotional abandonment, some level of trauma, some level of emotional, perhaps betrayal in their life. There was pain there. And one thing I've noticed in looking around and living my life is, whether it's a family member I have that's cheated on, or whether it's a friend I have that's cheated on, is usually the cheater. But I've seen the cheater's gone through some hard things in their life. And I don't know if the hard things in their life impacts their ability to have empathy, or it impacts their impulsivity. I'm sure it's both and more. It impacts their ability to make good decisions, because trauma is like that. Trauma impacts our core beliefs, which impacts our ability to healthfully function in a healthy way. And that's kind of the correlation I seen that, in these people, in the cheaters, like they're whether it's parental divorce, whether it's an absentee parent, whether it's witnessing domestic violence, whether it's, an abuse. There's something usually always there. But as we always say, as humans who study human behavior, trauma does not justify terrible behavior. It explains it, but it does not justify terrible behavior. And even though these people, yes, they've probably gone through it in their lives, and the person that I first fell in love with, they went through it in their lives in many ways, I still feel like they could have done better. I still feel like people could just be a little bit more decent. This goes for the workplace bully. This goes for the asshole friend. I still feel like people could do a little bit more better sometimes, regardless of their trauma. And I think it's important to hold people accountable for their mistreatment of you. Now, hold them accountable, but don't fixate. Hold them accountable. Don't excuse behavior, cheating behavior, just because this person has gone through a lot of things. We have to be able to be self-reflective and aware of how our past has impacted us and how that could potentially traumatize other people. Because cheating traumatizes the partner that has been cheated on. Cheating creates mistrust in the individual who's been cheated on. There's an innate post-traumatic symptom that derives from from being cheated on. And why can't we just have the guts to communicate when we're falling out of love with someone? We fell in love with them. We're falling out. We have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to be honest with yourself as the potential cheater. Like, am I actually falling out of love with this person? You have to be honest with yourself. You have to know what you want, who you are. But at the same time, I see that trauma disrupts a person's self-concept. It disrupts their self, their way of being. It can disrupt how they feel about situations. It disrupts their own self-identity. And with that, their own emotional responses to their own emotional stimuli that arises for them. They may not know how to feel, but not knowing is not an excuse to recklessly behave and treat other people in your life. The self-awareness still needs to come on. So for my cheaters, man, guys, look inward. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Communicate. It's hard to communicate. It's hard. But you save people from peril. You save people from being traumatized when you're able to cleanly end a relationship and not emotionally abandon and betray and traumatize your partner, because that's what it does. I remember when I saw that image of my previous partner, and I was a little kid, but it really fucked me up because I thought I had this secure attachment with someone with all of me. And even though we were already broken up at that point, I still felt like, okay, well, I feel like we're both probably gonna, go on a break, and I won't see her with any other guys. I had an impact on her life, so she's for sure needing to process that, and she needs, she can't just move on to someone else after she had been with me, like. And then when I seen that, it was like, what the fuck? It was like, wow, I must be absolutely nothing. And that's the impact that it has on your psyche. It literally, when you see that your ex is with someone else, it makes you feel like you're absolutely nothing. So my cheaters, my people who don't know themselves enough to communicate with the people that they like and the people that they kind of half like and the people that in their situationships, be honest with yourself. If you don't know yourself, take time to find yourself. If you don't know how you feel, take time to sit with how you feel. Journal, video vlog, anything to build self-reflection ability and skill. Now, on one last note, people who do cheat, and it's in the idea of cheating. Obviously, they go on to the next person, and I feel like ultimately it's not a reflection of the person who's been cheated on. It's a reflection of their own desperosity in their own emotional needs, which derives from trauma. The person who is cheating is leaving one person because at some level, this person is no longer meeting the cheater's emotional needs, perhaps maybe because the cheater's emotional needs are unable to even be met because they have trauma, because they don't even perhaps even love themselves. So they move on to the other person while they're in the relationship with the other person. And it's a recipe for disaster, and that oftentimes does not work. And I don't really feel like two self-respecting people can allow that dynamic to really function in a healthy way. It may work, but I don't feel like it's healthy. In my experience, most people who cheat, the person they cheat on, the person that they cheat on with, it just ends up being a fucking disaster. But ultimately, the person who cheats is running away into another person, and they're escaping their own wounds through the act of cheating, the sensation, the novelty. They're escaping their own demons. They're not confronting them. They're not resolving them. They're not processing the void. They're not filling the void in a healthy way. They're distracting themselves. And when we're in love, it brings forth that illusion that our traumas are being healed. But the trauma can only be healed through oneself. Now, of course, being in love can help you heal and resolve traumas, but it requires two healthy people. And I think by virtue, if you are cheating on a partner, and if you're doing that behind someone's back after making a commitment, and this is a healthy individual and you're cheating on them, and it's been a healthy dynamic, then, and if you decide to cheat, that is inherently already kind of puts you under the category of someone who has an issue. So with that, guys, I haven't made a video on cheating, but I had to talk about it because it's something that happens every single day, and it's tragic and it's sad. And I had my experiences with cheating as a kid. I'm getting a call. You can void calls while on videos. You learn something new every day. But what was I saying? We don't have to do this to one another, man. When you look at someone, I don't know. It's what was I going to say? When you look at someone, you should know I can fall in love with this person, and that's the physical. But when you learn someone, it's like you should. I feel like, after time, like you accept whether it's your person or not. Don't fuck around with people's lives like that. Remember, when you cheat, you also kind of like, you steal people's lives away from them too. It's like people are putting time, resources, their life, their one and only life into you. And for you to cheat and throw that away it's throwing someone else's life away, part of their life away too. Now, of course, there's always good things at the end of the tunnel once you heal from being cheated on, and there's always wonderful things that come from that pain, that can come from that pain. That doesn't happen to everyone, but for people who do focus on healing aggressively and devote themselves to emotional independence and self-love and being good to others and the people around them, these people get to heal. They get to find that inner stability again. And perhaps maybe that's the great that's just the goodness of being good. And for the person who cheats, cyclic karma. I don't know, man. There's just There's no there. There's just what is there in escaping and escapism. So, with that, hopefully someone new took something away from this. Remember, guys, don't cheat. Have the guts to communicate. You don't have to hurt people in that way. And you know, if you feel like falling out of love with someone, fall out of it. You're already out of love. Like, you can't force, I don't know, I don't feel like you can really force love. So it's like, if you feel yourself falling out of love, like, respect it, man. Fall out of love, but give it time. Give it time. Show the other person that respect. And I know it's like, yeah, once you break up, like, y'all shouldn't be looking at one another, but you're already connected, and so give that person that respect, and don't wait a couple months to date. Wait a year. You know, give yourself the respect. Give yourself the time, because you're gonna need it. There's no way you can't run a marathon without legs. You know, you need to heal. Like, you can't move on to the next relationship when you were just in love with someone else. It's just a delusion. Alrighty. I've been yapping a little too much about this. No, not enough, actually. This needs to be yapped about for hours and days and months, because people be fucked up out here. People be fucked up. You know what? Ultimately, I wish everyone healing, especially the cheater. They need it the most. So, guys, self-care. Take care of yourselves. Show love to the people around you. Show love to yourself. Love yourself. Recognize your trauma. Don't minimize it. Don't run away from it. Look at it bare in the face and understand how it impacted you, so that you can grow and not re-traumatize people, not continue the cycle of trauma. All right. Peace and love.